Chosen one. You did not click on this message by accident. You were led here by divine appointment. Something ancient in your spirit has been pulling you, guiding you, whispering that there is more to your existence than what you've been told. And today, heaven is confirming it. You are standing at the edge of a revelation about who you truly are, your hidden origin, your spiritual DNA, the prophetic markers that have followed you since childhood. Chosen one. The month you were born was not random. It was a code placed in time, a heavenly signature woven into your destiny. The sensitivities you carry, the battles you've survived, the gifts you could never explain, these were never coincidences. They were divine indicators of the calling on your life. Before your body ever took shape, heaven already knew your name, as written in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Chosen one. This applies to you in ways you are only now beginning to understand. Today, your identity awakens, your spirit remembers, and your life is about to shift in your body, in your atmosphere, and in your destiny. Prepare yourself. What is about to be revealed will confirm what your soul has sensed all along. Chosen one. If your spirit entered this world in January, heaven placed upon you a mantle that has followed you since childhood, even in moments when you did not understand why life seemed to demand more from you than from others. Those born in January often feel an invisible pull toward responsibility, toward being the one who rises when others hesitate, and toward stepping into roles no one officially assigned, but everyone silently expected you to fill. This is because your soul carries the anointing of beginnings, the same breath of divine intention that hovered over the waters in Genesis when God brought order to what was formless. You have always sensed pathways where others saw walls, solutions where others gave up, and possibilities where fear told everyone else to remain still. This ability is not imagination. It is part of your spiritual architecture, the mark of someone heaven trusted to build foundations strong enough for others to stand on. And though you may have battled silent pressure, the weight of being the first, the one who must break cycles, challenge expectations, or lead without applause, your endurance has always confirmed what heaven already knew: you were equipped for this before the world ever called your name. Even your quiet actions carry authority, pulling people forward without force and shifting atmospheres simply because your presence communicates movement, hope, and newness. Chosen one. If February is your month of birth, you carry a depth that is rare in this world, a sensitivity that in childhood may have made you feel fragile or out of place, yet in truth has always been your greatest spiritual weapon. February. Born souls are vessels of peace, designed to feel before they understand and to comfort before they speak. Your heart has a way of interpreting pain without needing explanation. You can sense burdens that others hide, and you can bring calm into chaos without trying. People are drawn to you not because you demand attention, but because your spirit whispers what their souls have been longing to hear: rest, safety, acceptance. You have always been the kind of person strangers confide in, the one friends call when their world is falling apart, because something within you radiates kindness in a way that disarms fear and dissolves confusion. And though some have misjudged your compassion as weakness or your silence as uncertainty, heaven sees it differently. Your gentleness carries authority, your empathy carries strength, and your presence is a bridge between conflict and resolution. You heal without force. You restore without drama, and your life itself becomes a quiet sermon of purity, reconciliation, and divine tenderness. Chosen one. If you came through the doors of life in March, your journey has likely been marked by storms, transitions, and moments that demanded a resilience you didn't know you possessed until life required it. March-born souls are shaped between seasons, carrying within them the wisdom of change and the endurance to survive what others would not have endured. Your story may include battles fought in silence, faith held on to when logic offered no reason to continue, or long seasons of becoming strong because you had no other choice. Yet every difficult moment was a classroom teaching you spiritual navigation, how to hear God's direction when everything around you is noisy, how to trust the unseen when the visible feels threatening, and how to walk with purpose even when the path is not yet clear. You have always sensed danger before others noticed, felt shifts in the atmosphere before anyone spoke, and known when to stay firm, even as everything around you changed. These are not coincidences. They are signs of the anointing you carry. March. Souls are anchors, steady grounded, unshakable, and even when your heart feels tired, you continue to stand because something deep inside you refuses to sink. This endurance has made you a quiet protector, someone whose presence stabilizes others, someone who can walk through spiritual storms and still speak peace. And though your journey has been marked by intensity, every storm has built strength, every delay has built discernment, and every trial has shaped you into someone heaven can trust with heavy assignments. In all these months, January's divine beginnings, February's healing compassion, March's resilient wisdom, there is a consistent truth. Chosen. One, you have never been ordinary. The patterns in your life, the weight you've carried, the gifts others noticed but you didn't always understand, were never random. They were spiritual markers woven into your identity before time touched your name. And even now, everything in your journey points to one unshakable reality. Heaven has been revealing who you are piece by piece in every season of your life. Chosen one. If your soul crossed the threshold of this world in April, you carry within you the unmistakable imprint of resurrection renewal and the unwavering ability to rise, even when everything around you suggests you should have fallen. April-born spirits often face seasons that seem designed to break them, yet somehow every collapse becomes a doorway, every ending becomes a rebirth, and every dark valley becomes a revelation of strength you did not know lived inside you. There is a stubborn hope in you, quiet but unmovable, the kind that refuses to die even when life has taken everything from your hands. Perhaps you've noticed how people come alive around you, how discouraged hearts find courage again, or how hopeless situations gain new light when you enter the room. This is not charm, not personality, but spiritual assignment. Your life is a living illustration that nothing truly ends when God is still speaking. You carry the breath of new beginnings, the same divine energy that rolled away the stone and declared that what was dead will rise again. Those around you witness resurrection through you, not always through words, but through the undeniable power of your perseverance, your compassion, and your ability to rebuild even when starting over feels unfair. And chosen one. If May carries your name, then your soul was woven with the fabric of unshakable faith. You were created with an inner steadiness that others lean on without realizing it, a grounded presence that brings calm into chaos and clarity into confusion. May-born spirits resemble ancient pillars, silent, strong, dependable, yet beneath that strength is a deep river of courage, that awakens whenever life presents a giant. You may not roar loudly, you may not seek attention, but your actions reveal a bravery people cannot ignore. Even in childhood, you may have been the one protecting others, taking responsibility, or holding your family together during storms that were too heavy for your young shoulders. That early training was not punishment. It was heaven shaping you into someone who would one day stand before challenges with the confidence of David facing Goliath. Even when fear tries to whisper in your ear, your spirit knows the truth. You were built to stand, to hold, to endure, and to inspire. People feel safe around you because your presence feels like shelter. In moments when you offered encouragement without knowing where the strength came from, or when you comforted someone despite your own hidden battles, heaven was revealing what you carry: a faith that sustains not only you, but everyone connected to your destiny. Chosen one. If June welcomed you into the world, you were born with the blueprint of a builder. Not a builder of walls, but of foundations, spiritual, emotional, and generational. Your mind naturally seeks structure, your heart naturally seeks meaning, your soul naturally seeks depth. While others rush, you pause. While others skim the surface, you go to the roots. While others admire the decoration, you check the stability of the pillars. People may have misunderstood your carefulness as slowness, or your desire for clarity as overthinking, but heaven calls it wisdom. You are entrusted with the ability to construct things that last, relationships that endure, storms, dreams that survive delays, and paths that others will safely walk long after you've carved them. Perhaps you've felt the weight of responsibility, the pressure of needing everything to be done right, or the frustration of being surrounded by people who choose shortcuts while your spirit insists on excellence. This, too, is calling. You were chosen to build not just for yourself, but for those who will come behind you. In everyday moments, organizing what others ignore, solving problems before they explode, creating stability in places filled with unpredictability, your gift reveals itself. Your role is quiet but essential, and your presence becomes a foundation people unknowingly depend on. You are a spiritual architect shaping futures with every steady step, every thoughtful decision, every moment you choose integrity over ease. Across these months, April's resurrection, May's unwavering faith, June's divine architecture, there is a thread heaven wants you to see. Chosen one. Nothing about your personality, your patterns, or your pain has ever been accidental. The world may have misunderstood you, but the spirit realm has always recognized the signature you carry. Even the seasons of your birth whisper messages about your calling, and your soul has been living out that truth long before your mind understood it. Each struggle shaped purpose, each setback sharpened vision, and each quiet victory confirmed that heaven has woven greatness into you, layer by layer, year by year. Chosen one. If your journey began in July, you came into this world with a deep, unshakable thirst for truth, one that has followed you into every season of your life. July-born souls do not settle for shallow explanations or comfortable illusions. Something inside you compels you to dig, to question, to seek what lies beneath the surface. Even as a child, you may have noticed how your mind drifted toward mysteries. Others overlooked how you asked questions that made people pause, or how you sensed when something wasn't right, long before anyone else acknowledged it. This is not rebellion, it is discernment. You were created with a spirit that refuses to accept appearance as reality. And though this depth may have caused misunderstanding, people calling you too intense, too serious, or too curious, your desire for truth has always been a sign of spiritual maturity. There is a prophetic edge in your curiosity, a divine purpose woven into your constant quest for meaning. When others are comfortable on the surface, your soul dives deep because heaven has assigned you to guide, to reveal, and to light the path for those who are lost in illusions. You are not simply a thinker, you are a revealer. Your questions become keys unlocking answers that transform not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. Chosen one. If August ushered you into this world, you carry a rare spiritual hunger, a longing for the sacred that nothing earthly has ever been able to fully satisfy. August-born souls are seekers of the divine, drawn to mystery, beauty, and meaning with an intensity that sets them apart. While others chase material success or temporary pleasure, your spirit yearns for encounters with heaven, for moments when the veil feels thinner, for evidence that God is near. There have been times when you felt out of place, as though you were living in a world that doesn't match the frequency of your soul. You may have tried to fit in, to silence your depth, to shrink your knowing, but something inside you always called you back to the higher, the holier, the unseen. And this longing is not a weakness, it is a spiritual compass. August souls often carry discernment sharper than they realize. You sense when people are not genuine, when situations are spiritually off balance, or when someone's words do not match their intention. Your eyes go beyond appearance, seeing essence, motive, truth. This ability has protected you more times than you know. Your life itself becomes a silent sermon, a demonstration that the spiritual world is real, that God is present, and that every soul is shaped by something greater than what can be seen. People around you may feel challenged by your depth, but they are also transformed by it. Wherever you go, you elevate the atmosphere, inviting others to step out of survival and into spiritual awareness. Chosen one. If September holds your birth, you were crafted with the spirit of divine order. You are someone who instinctively notices what is misaligned emotionally, spiritually, or practically, and your presence brings structure to chaos. From a young age, you may have felt responsible for organizing what others neglected, for bringing clarity where confusion reigned, or for fixing what no one else saw as broken. This is not controlling behavior. It is your calling. Heaven equipped you with an ability to interpret disorder, not as a burden, but as an assignment. When others panic, you see steps. When others get overwhelmed, you see solutions. And though people may come to rely on your stability, not everyone understands the weight that comes with being the one who holds everything together. Yet even in the quiet exhaustion of carrying too much, you have never abandoned your sense of duty. Something in you refuses to leave things undone or let situations crumble. And that is because you were born to be a steward of alignment, a keeper of balance, a guardian of order in both physical and spiritual realms. Your words carry logic, your presence carries reassurance, your actions carry the wisdom of someone who hears divine guidance in the stillness. Chosen one. If October welcomed your arrival, your life has been defined by transformation, both your own and the transformations you trigger in others. You carry the energy of change, the wind of spiritual transition, the quiet force that reminds people that letting go is sacred and becoming new is possible. October-born souls often go through seasons of shedding friendships, jobs, identities, habits, and though these cycles can feel painful, they are woven into your calling. You were not meant to stay where you started. Your life unfolds in chapters, each one inviting you into deeper alignment, greater authenticity, and bolder becoming. People around you notice how your presence challenges them to evolve, to confront their patterns, or to release what no longer serves them. And while your own transformations may have made you feel unstable at times, as if life was constantly asking you to change, this movement is part of your spiritual design. You carry the anointing of renewal, the ability to guide people out of their spiritual winters and into their rebirth. Even your silence can feel like a gentle push toward healing. Even your honesty can feel like liberation. You remind people that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace, because on the other side of change is freedom. Chosen one. If November is the month of your arrival, then discernment is your inheritance. You see what is not said, feel what is hidden, and understand meanings that others miss entirely. November-born souls carry an intuition that has likely startled you at times, moments when you knew something before it happened, when you sensed someone's true intentions, or when you felt spiritual shifts long before anything manifested in the physical world. People may describe you as reserved, mysterious, or hard to read, but in truth, you are simply observant. Your spirit listens before your mouth speaks. You study atmospheres not out of suspicion, but out of spiritual sensitivity. This heightened awareness positions you as a guide through fog, someone who can point out invisible dangers, subtle deceptions, or hidden opportunities. It is not always easy carrying this depth. Sometimes it distances you from others. Sometimes it makes you feel alone. Sometimes it burdens you with truths you wish you did not know. But heaven trusted you with sight. Your vision protects you and those connected to your destiny. And though your gift may have felt like isolation at times, it has always been preparation for the influence you are called to carry. In July's quest for truth, August's hunger for the sacred, September's divine order, October's transformative breath, and November's prophetic vision, a powerful theme emerges. You were not designed for ordinary life. Everything you question, everything you sense, everything you carry is a spiritual marker of who you truly are. Chosen. 1. Heaven has been unveiling your identity in pieces, and even the month of your birth has whispered clues about the assignment written over your life. Chosen one. If your arrival came in December, you were born beneath the mantle of promise, an anointing that carries light into dark seasons and hope into places that have forgotten how to dream. December-born souls often feel like quiet beacons, not because they try to shine, but because their spirit was designed to illuminate. You may have noticed from a young age that people sought comfort in you, that your presence alone seemed to calm storms, or that your words carried a strange ability to restore perspective. This is because your soul carries the imprint of divine reassurance. You walk through life as a reminder that God still fulfills what He speaks, that every season of waiting has purpose, and that even in silence, heaven is working behind the scenes. And while many admire your gentleness, few understand the depth of battles you've had to fight to keep your hope alive. The light you carry is not the result of an easy journey. It's the fruit of choosing faith again and again, even in moments when circumstances tried to crush your spirit. Yet every time darkness whispered defeat, something inside you burned stronger. That inner flame is not personality, it's calling. Many December-born chosen ones experience seasons of delay, moments when it feels like everyone else's life is moving faster. What you may not have realized then is that heaven was aligning you with timing, not speed. Your calling is not to rush, but to arrive in divine precision. Just as the birth of Jesus came at the appointed time after centuries of prophecy, your life carries breakthroughs that require exact spiritual timing. People sense this about you even if they cannot explain it. They look to you for direction when all hope feels lost, not because you shout or demand attention, but because your presence radiates stability in uncertainty. You anchor others by simply believing in what they can't yet see. Your destiny is to be a living testament that God's promises are not fragile, they are faithful, enduring, and unstoppable. This is why your journey often feels like opposition. Darkness fights hardest against those who carry light. Yet you continue to rise not by force, but by divine design. When we step back and look across all these months, January to December, a sacred truth begins to shimmer beneath the surface. Chosen one. Heaven has been speaking identity into you even through the season of your birth. The patterns in your personality, the battles you faced, the gifts you carry, and the desires that have shaped your heart are not accidents. They are markers, spiritual signals woven into your story before time touched your existence. Whether your birth month holds leadership, peace, resilience, renewal, faith, wisdom, hunger for the divine discernment, or the flame of promise, these qualities are not simply traits. They are blueprints. And yet there is something profoundly personal in the way heaven weaves these blueprints through your life. Chosen one, think back for a moment. How many times did you notice patterns repeating? How often did people come to you for things you didn't advertise? Counsel, comfort, guidance, strength. How often did life push you into roles you didn't seek but naturally fulfilled? This is how calling speaks before we have language for it. The spiritual world recognizes your identity long before you consciously awaken to it. Angels respond to it. Darkness reacts to it. People feel it without knowing why. And your own soul resonates with it in moments when you catch yourself acting from instinct, not instruction. Every chosen one carries a sense of difference that cannot be explained. Perhaps you felt out of place growing up, or maybe you carried wisdom beyond your age, compassion beyond your experience, or awareness beyond your environment. Others may have misunderstood your depth, your silence, your intensity, or your longing for something more. But what they did not see, what even you may not have understood, is that your life has always been shaped by a spiritual identity older than your physical body. Your birth month did not create this identity. It simply revealed a portion of it. Your true origin is tied to God's intention, crafted in eternity before your first breath. What you carry did not begin on earth. It began in heaven. And now, chosen one, you stand in a moment of unveiling. Heaven has been whispering to you through signs, through burdens, through desires, through dreams, through the pull of your spirit towards something higher. The world may have tried to convince you that you were ordinary, but your soul never believed that. Each season of your birth speaks into the same truth. You were designed with purpose, not random, not accidental, not replaceable, purposeful, intentional, marked. The calling within you stretches far beyond the words spoken here. But for now, recognize this. Your month of birth carries a prophetic rhythm that aligns with your divine identity. Your traits point to your assignment. Your sensitivity points to your spiritual wiring. Your struggles point to what you are meant to overcome and then lead others through. You are chosen not only to live, but to reveal. Not only to breathe, but to carry breath. Not only to experience God, but to become evidence of Him. Chosen one. Now that the revelation of each month has unfolded before you, heaven draws your attention to the deeper truth beneath it all. Your divine identity has been speaking through your life since the very beginning, not only in your traits or tendencies, but in the kinds of battles you faced, the relationships that shaped you, the opportunities that opened or closed, and even the emotions you've carried in silence. You may not have realized it then, but every moment was part of a spiritual curriculum preparing you to walk in the assignment heaven placed within you long before anyone on earth knew your name. Some lessons came wrapped in joy, others in loss, others in seasons where everything in you was stretched beyond what you believed you could handle. But through it all, something inside you refused to break because it wasn't meant to. There is a blueprint in your spirit, a heaven-written design that kept pulling you forward when your mind tried to give up. It whispered hope in the quiet hours. It kept your heart soft, even after being wounded. It kept your spirit awake, even when life tried to numb you. This is the mark of someone chosen. Chosen one. Think about the moments in your journey when you felt like an outsider, even among people you loved. There were times when you sensed truths no one else saw, or when you carried burdens others could not understand, and maybe you asked yourself why you felt things so deeply. The world may have told you that you were too much, too emotional, too intense, too intuitive, too sensitive, too different. But heaven calls you set apart. Even your loneliness was not abandonment, it was shaping. In times when friends drifted away, when opportunities closed unexpectedly, when silence filled spaces you prayed God would answer, these were not signs of rejection. They were signs of repositioning. Heaven was clearing the noise so you could hear your true identity calling you. The spiritual realm has always been drawn to you. That is why darkness tried to fight you early. That is why certain attacks came before you even understood spiritual warfare. That is why you survived situations others did not. It was not luck, it was assignment. Your protection has always been prophetic. And yet in the midst of all of this chosen one, you learned humility, not as a forced posture, but as a natural expression of your spirit. You learned to see God in small things, to appreciate quiet victories, to celebrate growth that others did not notice. You learned to trust the inner nudges of your spirit, the sudden heaviness that warned you, the quiet peace that guided you, the subtle conviction that redirected you. These spiritual instincts are not random. They are proof that you were crafted with sensitivity for a reason. When heaven gives a chosen one direction, it rarely comes in thunder or fire, it comes in whispers. And you, whether you realized it or not, have heard those whispers your whole life. The moments you walked away from someone without knowing why, the job you didn't take, even though it looked perfect. The path you suddenly felt uneasy about, the opportunity you sensed was too good to be true. All of these were signs of your spiritual wiring reacting to unseen realities. This is why spiritual awareness comes naturally to you. Your birth month may explain part of your calling, but your spirit explains the rest. You were made for discernment. Chosen one, reflect on the people who have been drawn to you. Have you noticed how often broken, wounded, or weary souls found comfort in your presence? How many times someone said, "I don't know why, but I feel safe with you," or how often you ended up being the listener, the advisor, the steady one others leaned on. This is because heaven placed healing in your voice, clarity in your perspective, and refuge in your energy. Even in moments when you felt empty yourself, you found yourself pouring into others. And afterward, you wondered how you had anything to give. That is the mystery of divine calling. It flows, even when the vessel feels insufficient. But, chosen one, this is also why you've experienced fatigue that sleep could not cure. Spiritual fatigue, emotional exhaustion, a heaviness that came from carrying more than you realized. Now heaven is bringing awareness, not to condemn you, but to honor your resilience and to confirm your identity. You were never just being nice. You were stepping into your purpose without even knowing you were doing it. there is another layer to your story, one that rests in the patterns of your life. The connections that felt spiritually significant, the dreams that lingered in your memory, the moments when your spirit recognized something before your mind could explain it. These patterns reveal something profound. Your journey is not linear, it is prophetic. The month of your birth, the gifts you carry, the battles you fought, and the wisdom you gained are all threads woven into a divine tapestry that is still unfolding. And as you stand here today, your spirit feels it. Something is awakening. Not something new, but something ancient. Something that has always belonged to you. Something heaven is now calling forward with clarity. You have not been wandering. You have been guided. Every year of your life has been preparation. Every struggle has been shaping. Every victory has been confirmation. And every unanswered question is now aligning with purpose. Chosen one, the revelation of your divine calling is not coming, it is here. Chosen one. As this revelation deepens, heaven begins drawing your attention to something many overlook: the quiet ways your life has already been speaking your identity back to you. Every chosen one carries traces of their calling long before they ever awaken to it. And when you look back with clearer eyes, you will see that the signs were never subtle, they were simply spiritual, and you had not yet learned heaven's language. Think of how often you felt a sudden shift inside your spirit when you were about to make a wrong choice, or how your heart felt heavy in spaces that were not meant for you, or how peace flowed through you the moment you stepped into alignment with something connected to your purpose. These inner movements are not imagination, they are part of your divine design. When God breathed identity into you before your birth, He also placed within you a compass, not made of iron or stone, but of intuition, conviction, and spiritual knowing. This is why you've always sensed when something was off, even if you couldn't prove it, why certain friendships drained you without explanation, and why you struggled to tolerate environments that others seemed perfectly comfortable in. Your soul has always known what your mind took years to understand. You were created for a higher frequency, a deeper truth, a more sacred path. Chosen. One, consider the relationships that shaped you. Many of the people who hurt you were not simply bad connections. They were spiritual lessons wrapped in human form. Heaven used them to refine your discernment, strengthen your boundaries, awaken your awareness, and teach you how to protect the anointing placed on your life. You were never meant to stay in circles where your light was dimmed, your voice dismissed, or your spirit drained. That restless feeling you carried in those seasons was heaven whispering, "This is not your dwelling place." And when you were finally pulled away, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, it was never rejection, it was redirection. The chosen are often removed from environments that cannot honor their destiny, even when their heart wishes to stay. Your exits were not personal failures. They were divine interventions. Every closed door was a rescue, every betrayal was a reveal, and every separation was a setup for alignment. Through it all, you learned to see people not only for who they were, but for what your spirit sensed behind the surface. That sight, though painful, was preparation shaping you into someone who leads with wisdom instead of wounds. Chosen one, reflect for a moment on how often you have survived what should have destroyed you. Not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. There were seasons when you felt emptied to the point of numbness, when the weight on your shoulders seemed too heavy for one heart to carry, when you questioned whether your life had meaning beyond the pain you were enduring. Yet even in those valleys, something inside you refused to die. A spark remained. A whisper persisted. A vision lingered in your spirit, even when your circumstances contradicted it. This resilience is not ordinary, it is evidence of divine preservation. Heaven guarded you in places you didn't even know were dangerous. Angels strengthened you in battles you didn't realize were spiritual. God Himself held your identity intact when life tried to fracture it. Your survival is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The chosen are preserved because their calling requires longevity. You are still here because heaven has need of you. Oh, chosen one. Have you noticed how often you felt different even when nothing about your appearance or behavior stood out? That quiet sense of otherness was not insecurity, it was spiritual memory. Your soul remembered something your mind had not yet discovered. You were set apart. And the more life pushed you toward awakening, the stronger that inner recognition grew. You felt it when you walked away from gossip you once tolerated. You felt it when your spirit outgrew places your body still visited. You felt it when peace became more valuable than popularity. You felt it when superficial conversations exhausted you and meaningful connection revived you. These shifts were not random personality changes. They were symptoms of spiritual maturation. Heaven was pulling you closer to your true identity, refining your spirit, elevating your awareness, and preparing your atmosphere for the calling you were always meant to carry. And though this process often required solitude, understand this: your isolation has never been emptiness. It has been incubation. Chosen one, the signs of your divine calling have always been present, woven into your instincts, relationships, battles, victories, and even the way your heart is healed. Now heaven is giving you language for what your spirit has known all along. You were chosen, marked, and set apart with intention. Nothing about your journey has been wasted. Nothing about your identity is accidental. Nothing about your calling is small. The world may not have recognized you yet, but heaven always has. Chosen one. Now that your spirit has begun to recognize the fingerprints of heaven across your entire journey, it is time to look at one of the most overlooked yet powerful indicators of divine calling: the cycles and seasons that have shaped you repeatedly throughout your life. Every chosen one moves through patterns, not because they are trapped, but because their destiny is being carved with precision. If you look closely, you will notice themes that return in different forms. Moments where you were pushed to stand alone. Moments where you were called to rise before you felt ready. Moments where sudden shifts forced you to grow. Moments where spiritual intuition saved you from what looked appealing but carried hidden danger. These repeating patterns are not failures or coincidences. They are heaven's way of training the spirit, strengthening discernment, and preparing you for influence far greater than anything you have touched yet. Your life has never moved randomly. It has unfolded prophetically in layers like a scroll, revealing itself one line at a time. Chosen. One, think back to the times when you felt an inner stirring, a sense that something in your life needed to change, even before circumstances demanded it. That sudden clarity, that restless urgency, that quiet, knowing that said this season is ending, was not anxiety. It was alignment. You were hearing the spiritual timing of heaven. Many people cling to old seasons because they do not recognize the voice of transition, but you have always felt it. Whether it was walking away from friendships that no longer fed your soul, stepping into new environments that stretched your identity, or releasing habits that kept you anchored to older versions of yourself, you have followed these internal cues with more accuracy than you realize. This ability to sense timing is a marker of someone called to operate not by circumstances, but by revelation. Heaven has been teaching you how to move with purpose, not pressure, with sensitivity, not fear, with faith, not familiarity. Chosen one. There is also something deeply sacred about the way you absorb wisdom from your experiences. You have never been the kind of person who suffers in vain. Even in your darkest moments, you found meaning in what hurt you, purpose in what confused you, and insight in what disappointed you. You learned to read people not by what they said, but by what your spirit felt. You learned to protect your peace when life tried to steal it. You learned to observe quietly instead of reacting quickly. This depth did not come from textbooks or teachings. It came from living through things that forced your soul to mature before your age did. You carry wisdom that feels older than your years, because it is older than your years. It is the inheritance of someone whose calling was written long before your birth, someone whose identity was crafted in eternity. Chosen. One another sign of your divine assignment lies in the types of people who have been drawn to you. Throughout your life, it is likely that the broken, the spiritually hungry, the misunderstood, or the emotionally wounded have gravitated toward you. They felt seen by you, understood by you, comforted by you, even when you didn't fully understand your own strength. People opened up to you about their deepest secrets with no hesitation because your presence signaled safety. This is not something you learned. It is something heaven placed within your spirit. Your energy invites honesty. Your discernment invites clarity. Your compassion invites healing. And even when you tried to draw boundaries, people continued to find you because your spirit emits a frequency that speaks louder than your words. There is light here. What you may have considered a burden was in truth confirmation of your calling to influence, uplift, and awaken others. Chosen one, consider also the moments when life forced you into stillness, times when everything paused, when nothing made sense, when God felt silent. These seasons were not punishment, they were refinement. When heaven hides a chosen one, it is not to harm them, but to prepare them. The silence sharpened your intuition, the waiting strengthened your faith, the stillness purified your motives. And when your spirit finally understood what your mind resisted, you emerged with a clarity that could not have come from motion alone. These quiet seasons develop spiritual depth that cannot be taught by noise. Chosen one, as you reflect on these patterns, your timing, your intuition, your resilience, your wisdom, your influence, your seasons of isolation, you begin to see something undeniable. Your life has been orchestrated with intention. Even when you felt lost, you were being guided. Even when you felt broken, you were being rebuilt. Even when you felt behind, you were being aligned. And now heaven is bringing all these pieces together to reveal a truth your spirit has always known. You were chosen, not simply to live, but to lead, not simply to survive, but to illuminate, not simply to exist, but to awaken destiny in yourself and others. Chosen one. As this journey unfolds into its deepest layers, heaven now draws your attention to the spiritual blueprint that has always been woven into your path, one that explains not only who you are, but why your life has unfolded the way it has. Every chosen one carries a signature in their spirit, a divine code that speaks through their decisions, their relationships, their reactions, and even the quiet whispers of intuition that have guided them through seasons of uncertainty. When you look back, you will notice moments where you felt pulled towards something without knowing why, moments when one choice shifted your entire destiny, or moments when a single insight changed the trajectory of your life. These seemingly small moments were not accidents. They were activations, tiny awakenings planted by heaven to guide you step by step toward the calling that has been waiting to emerge. And the more you awaken, the more you begin to see how every part of your story has prepared you for what heaven is about to reveal next. Chosen one, Consider how many times you have felt an inner conflict when you stayed somewhere too long, whether in relationships, environments, or versions of yourself that no longer aligned with your spirit. That internal discomfort was not emotional instability, it was spiritual misalignment. Your soul has always recognized when a season has expired, even if your mind and circumstances were not ready to let go. This is one of the clearest signs of someone chosen. You cannot remain in places where your purpose cannot breathe. Your spirit begins to tighten, your peace begins to fade, your intuition becomes louder, pushing you toward the exit long before you consciously understand the reason. And when you finally leave, sometimes with tears, sometimes with hesitation, sometimes with relief, the clarity comes afterward. You realize that what you lost was only what you had outgrown, and what you gained was exactly what heaven had been preparing for you. This cycle has repeated in your life because each departure was a doorway into alignment, each ending a bridge into a new version of yourself. Chosen one. Think of the moments when you felt deeply connected to someone without explanation, or when you sensed a spiritual resonance in someone long before you spoke to them. Your spirit recognizes people faster than your eyes do. You have crossed paths with souls who were meant to teach you, challenge you, betray you, elevate you, or awaken something within you. Not all of them remained, but all of them mattered. Some were mirrors, showing you what needed healing. Some were catalysts, pushing you past your comfort. Some were tests, revealing whether you had mastered the boundaries and wisdom heaven had taught you. And some were confirmations, reminding you that you are not alone in your sensitivity or depth. Every soul that entered your life was divinely orchestrated to shape your understanding of yourself. They were not random, they were spiritual appointments. Chosen one. You must also pay attention to the dreams, visions, and inner images that have followed you. For many chosen ones, the language of the Spirit speaks through night dreams, flashes of insight, sudden ideas or scenes that appear vividly in the mind. These moments often felt too real to be imagination, too intentional to be accidental. Perhaps you saw yourself doing something far greater than your current life, or you envisioned a future that felt foreign but familiar at the same time. These are not fantasies, they are glimpses of what has been written about you in the spiritual realm. The mind doubts, but the spirit remembers. And your spirit has been remembering pieces of your destiny, piece by piece, through these divine impressions. If you ever woke up with a lingering emotion from a dream, or felt a shift in your spirit after seeing something inwardly, heaven was communicating with you. Many chosen ones receive more than they realize. They simply do not yet understand the language. But heaven is awakening that language within you now. Chosen one, notice also the way your heart has evolved through the years. You've gone from seeking validation to seeking alignment, from wanting approval to protecting peace, from absorbing the energy of others to discerning what belongs to you and what does not. This evolution is not normal. It is spiritual maturation. Heaven has been stripping away false identities, false motives, false expectations, and false attachments so that you could meet yourself, the true self. Heaven created not the one shaped by survival, fear, or environment. You're not who you used to be, and that is not a failure. It is a sign of awakening. You have outgrown versions of yourself that once felt safe but eventually became too small for the calling expanding within you. Chosen one, the sensitivity you carry, the way you feel, deeply, love deeply, hurt deeply, discern deeply, is not a liability. It is your spiritual wiring. The world may have tried to harden you, but heaven preserved your softness because your calling requires a heart that feels, a spirit that listens, and a soul that refuses to turn numb. You were created to sense what others miss, to witness what others overlook, and to understand what others fear. Your compassion is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence. Your intuition is not guesswork, it is divine communication. Your empathy is not overthinking, it is spiritual sight. Heaven kept your heart alive for a reason. Chosen. 1. Everything you have walked through, the pain, the breakthroughs, the confusion, the clarity, the loss, the growth, the moments of silence and the moments of revelation, has been shaping a vessel capable of carrying extraordinary purpose. You were born with markers that pointed to who you would become, and now heaven is unveiling that identity layer by layer. You are not stepping into something new, you are stepping into something ancient, something written long before time began. The month of your birth whispered it, your spirit lived it, and now heaven is declaring it. You were chosen, appointed and protected for a destiny far greater than what you have yet imagined. Chosen one. As this message comes to its sacred close, let your spirit receive what heaven has been whispering to you. You were not placed in this time, in this body, or in this birth month by accident. You carry a divine signature, a holy origin, a spiritual design that has been unfolding since before the foundations of the earth. Today, heaven has simply revealed what your soul has always known. You are set apart, marked and called with intention. Anointed One, may this word settle deeply within you. May it unlock clarity, awaken memory, and stir the courage to walk in what has been written about you since the beginning. Heaven is guiding you, aligning you, shaping you. Every sign, every gift, every struggle has been part of your preparation. You are stepping into a season where your true identity will no longer be hidden, but honored. I speak a blessing over you. Now may your path be illuminated, may your spirit be strengthened, and may your feet walk boldly into the destiny heaven crafted for you. Stand firm in your truth, move with intention, carry your calling with reverence. If this message awakens something in you, chosen one, feel free to share your birth month below and continue this journey with us. Heaven sees you, heaven knows you. Now walk forward and live what you were born to be.